Yes, friends, we are discussing the concept of time of supply. Are we ready, my dear friends? So, is it a good time to learn time of supply? Very, very good time. Whether a good time or not, still we'll learn. Tell me, my dear friends, what is the answer for section 7? Supply. Section 8. Composite supply and mixed supply. Composite supply is taxable at the rate of principal supply. Mixed supply is taxable at highest rate. Friends, we discussed this. Then, my dear friends, very good. Tell me the answer for schedule 1. Transactions regarded as supply even though there is no consideration. Schedule 2. What are regarded as supply of goods? What is supply of service? Schedule 3. Transactions which are neither regarded as supply of goods nor supply of service. That is schedule 3. Correct, friends? Are we clear with all the concepts of supply? Very good. So if an artist is taking some artworks to art gallery, is it supply? No. But when artwork is actually sold, that time it becomes a? Remember this point? Next. In case of interstate movement of various goods in one vehicle or conveyance, will tax apply on the conveyance? No. Will it apply on the goods? Definitely answer is yes. This point also we discussed in detail. Friends? Everybody? Good. So there is a box of Kaju, Badam, Pista. What kind of supply it is? Mixed supply. Next. One cell phone you purchased, you also got warranty and you have paid extra money for extra warranty. What type of supply? It is not composite, it is not mixed. Already I told you. To call it as mixed supply, it should be given for a single price. And to call it as composite, it should be naturally bundled. Extra warranty is naturally bundled. 1 year warranty is naturally bundled. Extra warranty, if you pay extra price, you get extra warranty. And that will obviously not be a composite supply. And that won't be a mixed supply. Clear, no? Discussed. And in case of such kind of transaction where value of the goods, value of service, or both the goods, both service is shown separately, we will charge tax to them separately. Remember this point? Friends, what is section 10.1? Composition scheme. How many categories are covered there? 3. What are 3 categories? Manufacturer, trader, restaurant and catering service provider. Manufacturer, what is the rate? 0.5% plus 0.5% of turnover. Trader, 0.5% plus 0.5% of taxable turnover. Restaurant and catering service provider, 2.5% plus 2.5% of turnover. Clear with this? And manufacturer of some goods cannot take composition scheme. What are those some goods also we discussed? Tobacco and tobacco substitutes, ice cream and other edible ice, whether or not containing cocoa, then aviation, aerated waters. Thank you. Aviation turbine fuel is the 5 petroleum products. Remember, no? Very good. Then tell me, friends, what is the tax rate for services, composition rate for services? %3 plus? Discuss that concept, my dear friends, everybody. And that will apply only to those whose turnover does not exceed 50 lakhs during preceding financial year. Current up to 50 lakhs pay tax at the rate of 3% plus 3%. Correct, no? What are the 3 lists as per constitution for levying tax? Union list, state list, concurrent list. Friends, gurtunda? Discussed. Next. Is customs duty subsumed under GST? No, only CVD and special CVD. But BCD is still there. What is BCD full form? Very good. What are the 2 types of supply? Intrastate supply and intrastate supply. Intrastate supply, what will you charge? You changed. Marpeyav. You changed. Now I am also realizing. So for intrastate supply, we will charge what? CGST and SGST. Intrastate supply, what will you charge? So for intrastate, we will charge CGST and SGST. For intrastate, we will charge IGST. Remember these points, everybody? Speak out. Pakka clear? Very good. Let's start. We have discussed about time of supply, where we started discussion about section 12. Section 12 deals with the concept of time of supply in case of goods. And we discussed already about 12.1, 12.2. What is 12.1? Come on guys, what is 12.1? Liability to pay tax shall be as per time of supply. 12.2. General rule. Heading okay. Content neutral. What is the general rule? Date of invoice. Date of advance is not relevant at all. I clearly discussed that in case of goods, GST liability will not arise on advances. On advances, GST liability will not arise. Friends, we discussed that, everybody? Come on, please reply. So directly as per section 12.2, time of supply answer will directly be date of invoice. And what is date of invoice? Actual date of invoice or last day when invoice is ought to have been issued under section 31, whichever is earlier. When invoice is ought to have been given, whenever there is a movement of goods on or before date of removal. And if there is no movement of goods on or before a date of delivery or make available, and in case of continuous supply of goods, statement is issued or payment is received, whichever is earlier. Correct, no? We discussed all this. So time of supply is date of invoice, which means actual date of invoice, or last day when invoice is ought to have been issued, whichever is clear with that point, everybody? Come on, let's start new point for discussion. That is section 12.3. 12.3 talks about, wonderful, 12.3 talks about time of supply in case of goods covered under RCM. RCM stands for reverse charge mechanism. I am sure you would have heard this point in CMA Inter, but let me tell you the point once again, that in general, who is liable to pay GST is always the supplier. For a classic example, if you go to a restaurant owner is liable to pay GST. Of course, he will collect from customer. That is the story because of shifting of tax burden, because this is indirect tax. Indirect tax burden can be shifted. Even though burden is shifted, the ultimate liability for payment of tax is on the supplier only. But there are some special transaction, some special services like insurance agent to insurance company, recovery agent to bank, and most popular point GTA, goods transport agency, and some goods like cashew nuts, tobacco products. So for some, cashew nut, tobacco products, for some products and some services, the liability for payment of tax is not on supplier but on recipient. Now don't think that double tax is happening here. It's not double tax. So in general, if I am supplier, you are receiver. What would have happened? I would have given you invoice, collected tax from you and paid the tax to government. Correct, no sir? But if the transaction is covered under RCM, I will not take tax from you. You will directly pay tax to the government. That is the story of RCM. Liability is on your head. So RCM is those cases where the liability for payment of tax, I repeat, the liability for payment of tax is not on the supplier but on the recipient. Reverse charge mechanism is those cases where the liability for payment of tax is not on the supplier but on the recipient. In fact, when I go to registration chapter, I'll tell you in detail one point that if any person is required to pay tax under reverse charge, for him registration is mandatory, irrespective of turnover. Since last few days, we have been discussing one line that in general registration required only when we cross 20 lakhs and all. But if somebody is required to pay tax under RCM, there is not 20 lakhs, 10 lakhs also. You should definitely take registration because you are required to pay tax under RCM. What is RCM full form? Exactly. So if you are required to pay tax under RCM, for your registration is mandatory. Now we are trying to learn about what is time of supply for goods covered under? They told simple answer. Earliest of the following dates. They'll never tell later of the following dates, because they tell later their tax will get postponed. That's why they always tell earliest of the following dates. Number 1, date of receipt of goods, when goods have been received. Number 2, date of payment, but I'll put a star mark for this. Why star mark? Because we should know what is the meaning of this word date of payment, where they told date of payment means date when payment is entered in books, or date when payment is debited in bank. Whichever is earlier. Come on guys, see that line. What is that line? Date when what, sir? Payment is entered in the books. We will pass an entry, no? Payable entry we will pass in the books. Or date when payment is debited in the bank. Don't think the word, sir, credited should be there. No, why debited is there? Debited is there because we are talking from the receiver point of view. Receiver bank account, it will not credit, it will debit, because money is gone. Debit all expenses, credit all incomes. Heard no? Debit receiver, credit the giver. Debit all expenses, credit all incomes. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. The beautiful double entry system, where if you do 2 mistakes also, balance sheet will tally. But if any time you dance telling balance sheet tallied, that doesn't mean answer is correct. Correct, no? Shivateja, when I wrote CA final exam, first question, final accounts problem. First paper in CA final, financial reporting. Wrote the paper, 20 marks question, balance sheet tallied. Imagine how I would have been in the exam, jumping and dancing only. Opportunity was not there. If it would have been there, I would have tore my shirt and danced. You got first question, 20 marks, balance sheet tallied. 40 marks passing, half marks over. And I came out with the exam with such a confidence that pakka 70 plus will come. After result, I got 42. And I applied for, not revaluation, I applied for that sheet, certified copies, to see what has happened. After seeing certified copy, I realized that balance sheet tallied, but answer is wrong. I made 3 mistakes. But I am so smart fellow, I made 3 mistakes in debit side, 3 mistakes in credit side. So pakka balance sheet tallied. Friends, correct, no? So balance sheet tallied doesn't mean answer is correct. Please realize it. Correct, no? So what is that word? What is date of payment? Date when payment is? What you are seeing there? See me. Date when payment is entered in the books, or date when payment is what in bank? Debited in bank. Whichever is? Earlier. Common sense. Earlier. Because they want tax quickly. Come on, what is the first date? Date of receipt of goods. Second date, date of payment. Third date. This is interesting. 31st day from date of invoice. From invoice date, please calculate 31st day. Correct, no? I'll ask you one example. Invoice date 4th Jan. 4th? How will you calculate 31st today? What is 31st today? Some are telling. So February confirmed. Date you tell. 4th. So for counting 31 days, you should not count 4th. You should count from 5th. From 5th I calculate 27 days in Jan. Speak out. Plus 4 days in February. It becomes February 4th. Is that correct, no? Speak out. Come on, what is time of supply in case of goods covered under RCM? date of receipt of goods, date of payment, 31st day from date of invoice. These three, whichever is earlier. This is in case of goods covered under? Exactly. Are we getting clarity? Speak out. In the same lines, let me also complete one more small concept, my dear friends. That is section 13.3. In case of services covered under, here only two dates are there. One, date of payment. Second, 61st day from date of invoice. There what they told? 31st day. Here what they are telling? Exactly. These two, whichever is? No doubt about it. Earlier only. And what is date of payment? Date when payment is entered in the books, or a date when payment is debited in the bank, whichever is earlier. Are we clear? Friends, speak out. Everybody? Good. Can you give some examples for services covered under RCM? Advocate service, sponsorship service. Wow. Let's take some examples. Detail we'll talk again soon. Yeah? Let's take some examples of services covered under RCM. Number one, most beautiful point, insurance agent to insurance company. Sir, I hope you know that every agent is not an employee. If he is employee, GST only will not come, because we know that service by employee to employer is neither supply of goods nor supply of service. So if it is not supply of goods, not supply of service, there is no question of GST. Clear, no? Insurance agent, insurance company. Sir, why do you think they kept this under RCM? Why this is under RCM? Exactly, there are so many insurance agents in the entire India and the entire country, so it is very difficult to catch each of them. They thought it will be more easy to catch insurance company. Number two, director to company. Number three, legal services. Then the most popular part you are forgetting. Sir, who is GTA? Goods transport? Exactly, these are the major points which are covered under what, my dear friends? RCM. Where supplier is not liable to pay GST, receiver is liable to pay GST. Clear? What is the point? Author, wonderful. There is something called author to publisher. Like for example, Chetan Bhagat wrote one book. He is an author, but he is not the publisher. Like that, so many points are there. We have got sponsorship service, a recovery agent to bank. So many points are there. All the points we'll talk in detail separately. We are not in RCM chapter. We are in time of supply chapter. So when we go there, we'll talk. Clear? But some examples we are talking so that when we go there, things will become very smooth and easy. Clear? What is 12.2? General rule. What is the answer? Date of invoice. What does that mean? Actual date of invoice or last date when invoice is ought to have been issued, whichever is earlier. 12.3. Time of supply for goods covered under RCM. What is the answer? Date of receipt of goods, date of payment, 31st day from date of invoice. Good. 13.3. Services covered under RCM. Date of payment or 61st day from date of invoice. Whichever is. Come on, take this summary. So are we clear with this concept, everybody? Speak out. 12.3, what is the answer? Time of supply in case of goods covered under RCM. 13.3, services covered under RCM. 12.3, what is the answer? Date of receipt of goods, date of payment, 31st day from date of invoice. Then what about 13.3? Date of payment or 61st day from date of invoice. We don't have that word, date of receipt of goods. Are we clear? Good. Let me talk about 12.4. And the same thing is there in 13.4. 12 in case of goods, 13 in case of services. And both cases the concept is the same. 12.4, 13.4 deals with time of supply in case of vouchers. What is a voucher? Voucher is something like an coupon, Amazon voucher, Flipkart voucher, as a gift voucher. Correct, friends? Now there are two types of voucher. Payment voucher, receipt voucher. Madam, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. There is something called identifiable voucher, non-identifiable voucher. Example for that is, imagine I give you a shirt voucher. I give you a shirt voucher. So you can go to the shop and buy only the, but imagine I give you a Big Bazaar voucher for 1,000 rupees. Then you can go to Big Bazaar and buy whatever item you want. Correct, friends? Student is asking, sir, when are you giving? I know. Sir, two situations. Supplies, other side supplies, if supply is identifiable, time of supply will be date of issue of voucher. Whenever voucher is issued, that time only it's taxable. Common sense point for this is because, listen, sir, don't talk, listen please. Imagine I give you a voucher of shirt voucher. You can go and redeem that voucher only for purpose of, and the shirt GST rate we know before only. But if I give you Big Bazaar voucher, you can go and buy any item, whatever it is. And different items have got different rates. That's why what they told is, where supply is not identifiable, time of supply will be date of redemption of voucher. If supply is identifiable, date of issue of voucher. Supply is not identifiable, date of redemption of voucher. Whenever voucher is redeemed, that time of supply will come into picture. Are we getting clarity? Sir? Take this, come on. Few more points to talk. Then we can happily complete time of supply. But I'll give some questions. Then we can happily complete. I just don't want to complete. We should happily complete. Have we done? What is 12.1? Liability to pay tax shall be as per time of supply. 12.2. General rule. 12.3. Time of supply for goods covered under RCM. 12.4. Time of supply in case of vouchers. Let's talk about 12.5. And the same point will apply for services also. So it is 12.5 or 13.5. Fantastic. Sir, this case is something like a residual case where 12.1, where 12.2, 3, 4 are not applicable. Sir, when this can happen, that 12.2, 3, 4 are not applicable? When this can logically happen that we are not able to apply 12.2 also, 3 also, 4 also? That is only in case where we don't have all the details properly. Invoice date is not available, payment date is not available. Reason is like that. Getting clarity? Because we can find out time of supply only when dates are available. If dates are not there, we can't apply 2, 3, 4. Then they told please apply a residual case. And in residual case they told two interesting situations. One, he is required to file periodical return. Periodical return means monthly return, or some special cases quarterly return also. And who is required to file a periodical return is only a registered person. Common sense point, only a registered person is required to file returns. He is not required to file. What's her? Next. If he is required to file periodical return, time of supply will be date on which, wrong answer, return is to be filed. It is not when return is filed. It's a date on which return is to be filed. That means what? When I say date on which return is to be filed, it is as good as due date. Correct, no? The due date of filing the return, that becomes time of supply. So getting clarity? Exam question came, students wrote the date on which return is filed. Wrong answer. Wonderful. Clear? Come on. If he is not required to file periodical return, time of supply will be the date on which tax is paid. Which day you pay tax, that day only becomes time of supply. Which day you pay tax, that day only becomes time of supply. Getting clarity? So I repeat again, 12.2 is the general rule. 12.3 is goods covered under RCM. 12.4 is a voucher case, identifiable, non-identifiable and all. 12.5 is something like a residual case which will come into picture in case where 12.2, 3, 4 are not applicable. And there they gave two situations. Situation 1, he is required to file periodical return. Situation 2, he is not required to file periodical return. And if he is required to file periodical return, time of supply will be the due date on which return is to be filed. And if he is not required to file periodical return, the date on which tax is paid. Logical point, because if he is not required for periodical return means he is unregistered person. No data is available. So which day you pay tax, that day only is time of supply. Getting clarity? Speak out. Which section all this? 12.5, 13.5. Take it. Say done. What is 12.1? Liability to pay tax shall be as per time of supply. 12.2 general rule. 12.3 RCM. 12.4 vouchers. 12.5 residual case. That will come into picture in case where 12.2, 3, 4 are not applicable. Are we clear? Everybody? Good. Next. Let me talk about 12.6 or 13.6. What is the concept? First understand carefully, then we can write the answer. First listen carefully, sir. Sir, imagine there is Shivateja. I mean, Shivateja is there. Don't imagine he is there. Yeah? Now, Shivateja has supplied some service to one client for 1 lakh fees. Okay? And I told the client very clearly that payment within 1 month, else extra 10,000. Possible? Speak out. Very practical. Practically they don't charge penalties and all, but practically they charge something called interest. So many big companies, also Reliance, Tata, so many big companies, whenever they sell the goods on credit, they give 30 days credit, 40 days credit. Once their credit period is over, they start charging interest. So money only, no? And today rupee, tomorrow rupee is not the same. You guys know that very well. There is something called time value of money. Money rupee value will change today, rupee value will change tomorrow. Simple. Once upon a time, cell phone is big thing. Entire family had one phone, one cell phone. But now, everybody in the family has a cell phone. If it's not there, there is a problem. Landline phone, how many are using? And once upon a time, we all used to be crazy about something called Orkut. Urtunda? Orkut, Facebook and all. Now who's using Facebook? Not really much. Everybody shifted to Instagram. Wonderful. Clear? Answer? Who I am there on Instagram? I am there. So everybody is there. You are also there now. So the point is very clear. As the time will change, things will change a lot. So for that reason, when it comes to monetary terms, there is something called time value of money. That for that reason, whenever they give a credit period, if that credit period is exceeded, supplier keeps charging interest. Clear? Now we are talking about for this 10,000, what will be the time of supply? Other words, my dear friends, 12.6 or 13.6 talks about time of supply in case of addition in value by way of interest or late fee or penalty charged by supplier from recipient. Exactly. We're talking about time of supply in case where additional value has been increased. Supplier was supposed to collect only 1 lakh, but is collecting how much? 1 lakh? 10,000. Extra 10,000 is being collected. So there is addition in value by way of interest or late fees or penalty. Charged by whom? Supplier from? Now, time of supply will be date when such addition in value is received. Date when such addition in value is what, sir? Received. What is the addition in value? Interest, penalty, late fees. So which date that interest, late fee, penalty is received, that day becomes time of supply. Which day that amount is received, that day becomes time of supply. So getting clarity? Speak out. Everybody. Now one special point I'll tell you, which is very important. Generally, such interest or late fee or penalty is treated as inclusive of GST. Generally, we don't collect separate GST as such. We will treat that only as including GST. So, getting clarity? When I say including GST, how do you calculate GST? If GST is 18%, if GST is 18%, and we are saying that value is including GST, how do you calculate the GST amount? 18 by 118. As simple as that. Generally, we do 18 by 100. If it is including GST, we will do 18 by 118. Antega? Ante. Wonderful. Sir, are we clear? Sure? Fantastic. Take it. What happened? Generally, such interest, late fees or penalty. Such. Generally, such interest, late fees or penalty is treated as inclusive of GST. So done? Write a note. As per section 13.3, as per section what, sir? Friends, what is 13.3? Services covered under RCM. As per section 13.3, time of supply is date of payment. Time of supply is date of payment or 61st day time of supply is date of payment or 61st day from date of invoice. Date of payment or 61st day from date of invoice, whichever is earlier. Correct now? Right. I want to try it again. Date of payment or 61st day from date of whichever is earlier. Full stop. However, in case of supply by associated enterprises. In case of supply by what, sir? Associated enterprise, related person. Google foreign to Google India, Facebook foreign to Facebook India. Correct now? Supply by what, sir? Where supplier is located, where supplier is located outside India. Where supplier is located outside India and receiver is located in India. And receiver is located in India. Then time of supply shall be, supplier is outside India, receiver is in India. Clear now? Then time of supply shall be date of entry in the books of account. Date of entry. Date of what, sir? Entry in the books of accounts of recipient. Date of entry in the books of account of recipient. Date of entry in the books of accounts of recipient, or date of payment. Or date of payment, whichever is earlier. So I'll ask you one question, tell the answer. ABC Limited, a merchant dealer, okay, sold a gift voucher to customer for 2000 rupees on 10th November to purchase a specific cloth from its showroom. From the showroom they can buy that cloth using that voucher, and the voucher is sold on 10th of November, and customer redeemed the voucher on 15th November. When is the time of supply? 10th? Exactly. Why? Date of issue of voucher, because supply is identifiable, because they clearly told specific cloth. Correct, friends? Very good. Write one question. Tell me the answer. Write a question. Mr. A sold goods to Mr. B. Mr. A sold goods to Mr. B. Mr. A sold goods to Mr. B on 1st August 2019. On 1st August 2019. Full stop. Invoice is issued on same date. Invoice issued on same date. Determine time of supply. In the following cases. In the following cases. First point, first case. A removed the goods. A removed the goods. A removed the goods for delivery to B. A removed the goods for delivery to B. A removed the goods for delivery to B on 16th August 2019. On 16th August 2019. 19. Okay? Second case. B collected the goods. B collected the goods from A's premises. B collected the goods from A's premises. A's premises on 10th August 2019. 10th August 2019. First situation what I gave, A has sent to B. Situation 2, B has come to A and taken it. Correct, no? Third situation. B made full payment. B made full payment. B made full payment on 26th July 2019. B made full payment on 26th July 2019. B made full payment on 26th July 2019. Next, fourth case. Mr. B credited the payment. Mr. B credited the payment. Mr. B credited the payment in the bank account of A. Mr. B credited the payment in the bank account of A. In the bank account of A on 28th July. 28th July 2019. 28th July 2019 for 3/4 of the goods. For 3/4 of the goods. Okay, full stop. A recorded, continue. A recorded in his books. A recorded in his books on 3rd August 2019. Recorded the books on 3rd August 2019. And the goods are dispatched. And the goods are dispatched on. And the goods are dispatched on 5th August 2019. 5th August 2019. Come on, 2 minutes time. Tell me the answer. So hold on, one more question. Question number 2. Question number 2. Mr. X entered into a contract. Mr. X entered into a contract with Mr. Y. With Mr. Y to supply oil. To supply oil. To supply oil throughout the year. Throughout the year. Full stop. Mr. X issues monthly statement to Mr. Y. Okay? Mr. X issues monthly statement to Mr. Y. Full stop. Determine time of supply. Determine time of supply in the following cases. Number 1, Mr. Y made payment. Mr. Y made payment for the month of July. Mr. Y made payment for the month of July on 31st July 2019. He made payment for the month of July on 31st July 2019. Yeah, and Mr. X issued statement for the month of July, and Mr. X issued statement for the month of July on 8th August 2019. Yeah, second bit. Mr. A issued statement. Mr. A issued statement for the month of August. Mr. X issued statement, sorry. Mr. X issued statement for the month of August. For the month of August on 5th September 2019. On 5th September 2019. And the payment is not received till 30th September 2019. And the payment is not received till 30th September 2019. Tell me the answer. 5 minutes time. Both questions, tell me the answer. Think properly and tell me. Please don't relax. I gave you time to solve the question. Are we getting clarity on this point, everybody? So first question, first bit, second bit, third bit, fourth case answer is 1st August only. The reason, because in case of goods, date of payment is irrelevant. Only thing relevant is date of invoice. Date of invoice means what? Actual date of invoice or last day when invoice is ought to have been issued, whichever is earlier. Payment date is irrelevant. Second question, first bit 31st July because payment has come before. Because we are talking about a case of continuous supply of goods. Invoice must be issued when statement is issued or payment is received, whichever is earlier. Remember that, no? Continuous supply of goods. 5th of September. Obviously. So are we clear? Can we do in the exam? Speak out. Some are telling, yes sir, you have seen our talent, no, just now. That is why I am having doubt. Can I proceed? Friends, what are the sections we learned so far? 12 and 12? Fantastic. How do you tell, sir? Amazing talented people we have. They are only not allowing you to do something. Amazingly talented. Then 13:1. Five. Then wow. These two are same. These two are same. These two are same. These two are same. These two also done. Correct, no? But this is 31 days. This is 61 days. Hello? Hello? Hi. Clear, no? Speak out. This is also over. What is 12:2? General rule. Date of? Now what is left is only 13:2. Time of supply in case of services in general. That if we do, will be done with section 12 and section 13. Let's do that. Section 13:2. General rule. See here. First listen. If invoice is issued within time. If invoice is issued, what's the within? Now big question is, what is that word? Within time. That will take some time, which we'll learn today only. Don't worry. So if invoice is issued within time. Time of supply will be date of invoice, date of payment, whichever is earlier. Now what is date of payment? Date when Payment is in books. A date when payment is credited in bank, whichever is earlier. Some students are becoming emotional. So some time back you only told debited, now you are only telling credited. You are doing cheating with us, sir. What cheating? You should apply common sense. There I told debited because it was RCM. From receiver point of view, this is from supplier point of view. Supplier amount will not go, amount will come. If amount comes, bank account will get credited, not debited. Clear, no? Speak out. Other side. If invoice is not issued within time, what is the time we learn? Date of DOCS means date of completion of survey or a date of whichever is. And what is date of payment? We know already. Getting clarity? What is it I should teach you now? Time. Exactly, I know the time. We'll talk about what is the time limit for issuing invoice. In case of goods, we learnt movement of goods, no movement of goods, continuous supply of goods. So discuss, no? Same way we learn in case of services also. But first take this, then I'll teach you that. So done? Chalo, write one note below. If both the above provisions are not applicable, if both the above provisions are not applicable, if both the above provisions are not applicable, then TOS shall be TOS. What is TOS? Exactly, TOS shall be the date on which TOS shall be the date on which TOS shall be the date on which recipient shows receipt of services, date on which recipient shows receipt of services, date on which recipient shows receipt of services in his books of account. Recipient shows receipt of service in his books of account. So when receiver shows, that becomes time of supply. Getting clarity, friends? So today, let's also complete. What is that word? Invoice must be issued within time. Sir, listen. In general, invoice must be issued within 30 days from completion of what, sir? Service. So once service is completed, within 30 days, invoice must be issued. Next. In case of banks or NBFC, it is 45 days. So friends, in general, invoice will be issued within 30 days. But in case of bank, NBFC, it is what days, sir? 45 days. Sir, this concept is important because if invoice is issued within time, time of supply will be date of invoice, date of payment, whichever is earlier. And it is not issued within time, it is date of completion of service, date of payment, whichever is earlier. Difference is there in treatment, no? So it is important to know this when invoice must be issued. Correct, my dear friends? Next point you see, interesting point. If supply of service ceases before completion. I repeat, what is that line, sir? If supply of service ceases before completion. Ceases means stops. Excellent answer. For example, I got one service, halfway he told me to stop. Possible, no? Then invoice must be issued at the time of cessation to the extent of value done up to cessation. So getting clarity, everybody? So for some reason service got stopped. So to the extent of service what you have done up to that date of stopping, for that give invoice. Friends, getting clarity? And finally, one more last interesting concept also is there. That is, how do we give in case of continuous supply of service? Sir, goods also we discussed, no, continuous supply of goods. And here they told continuous supply of service means where it is for a period more than 3 months. Classic example, AMC. Sir, every 2 months once, 3 months once, to our home, AquaGuard water purifier fellow will come and change the water purifiers, no? The reason is coming because we already taken AMC, annual maintenance contract, for ACs, TVs and all, refrigerators. We take that AMC, no friends? Speak out. Even for a period more than 3 months, we call it as continuous supply of service. In goods, they never told more than 3 months. But the more than 3 months word is only in case of service. They gave 3 cases here. Due date for payment is ascertainable. Due date for payment is what, sir? That means in the contract only we mentioned you have to pay on so and so, so and so, so and so dates. Possible, no, sir? So the due date for payment is ascertainable. They clearly told on or before due date of payment. So on or before due date of payment, invoice must be raised. Clear? Sir? Next slide. If due date for payment is not ascertainable on or before date of payment. So observe the difference carefully. Where due date is ascertainable on or before due date of payment. If due date is not ascertainable on or before date of payment. Got the small difference, no? So speak out. Last case. If it is linked to completion of event or any milestone, this is very common in case of construction companies, where if I am a builder, I will tell, once I put the slab, pay me 20%. Once I construct the walls, another 50%. Once tiles are over, another 20%. Slab is done, sir. They put the milestones, no sir? Step by step payments. Sir, getting clarity everybody? Next. On or before completion of such event or milestone. Exactly. So this entire page talks about the concept of when invoice must be issued in case of services. First we spoke about services, then we spoke about continuous supply of services. Clear, friends? Put the title, when invoice must be issued. When invoice must be issued. Are we done? Sadan, can I proceed? Please reply. Question number 1. Mr. Ramesh rendered service. Mr. Ramesh rendered service for 2 lakhs. Mr. Ramesh rendered service for what, sir? 2 lakhs. On 1st December. Full stop. Invoice is raised on. He rendered service on 1st December. Invoice is raised on 9th December. And payment is received on 22nd November. Payment received on 22nd what, sir? November. Next, question number 2. Question number 2. PQR Limited issued invoice. PQR Limited issued invoice to ABC Limited. On 5th August 2019. In relation to services. 5th August 2019 in relation to services. Clear? Full stop. Determine TOS in following cases. Determine TOS in following cases. First one. Service completed on first of July. Number 2. Service completed on 15th July. 15th July. CBIT. Sir, who gave service to whom? Right. Third bit. ABC made payment on 3rd August. 3rd August. Even without completing service. D-bit. ABC made payment on 15th August. 15. And service is completed. On 1st August. On 1st. Okay, tell the answer for this first. Tell me, sir, what is the answer for first question? 22nd? This also you told wrong means wherever you stay, go to tank band once, jump, come out. Mistake cannot happen because straightforward question this is. Second question, A bit. 1st of July, no doubt about it. B bit. 5th. Excellent. C bit. Sir, please see the question very carefully. First question I clearly told, service is completed on when? 1st of July. 1st July completed means what is the story? Invoice given when? 5th August. That means what? It's not given within 30 days. So date of service, date of payment, whichever is earlier. Payment date is not date. So we'll take 1st July only. Second bit. Service completed on 15th July. So invoice given within time. Date of invoice, date of payment, whichever is earlier. 5th August, correct answer. Third bit. He made payment on 3rd August. So no doubt 3rd August. Why? Payment came before invoice. And service is still pending. That means the payment came in advance. And in advances we are required to pay GST in case of services. I already told this. In case of goods, we need not pay GST on advances. But in case of services, we have to pay GST on advances. Then debit. Perfect. 5th August. Good. Finally, students seem to be happy. So are we clear with all these points? Come on, let's have a quick round of revision. What is 12.1? Liability to pay tax shall be as per time of supply. 12.2, general rule. 12.3, RCM. 12.4, 12.5, residual case. 12.6, addition in value by way of interest, late fees, penalty. Friends, are we clear? Please. Thank you so much. Take care. See you next class. But revise once and come back so that when we solve more questions, we will be more perfect. In time of supply, only one last section is left out. That is section 14. That also will complete. And then we'll start one more fantastic topic called value of supply. Good. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.